be very direct and try to actually, solve some problems or break the objections that your clients might have when you are creating the B2B marketing video. Hi guys, my name is Rafał, I'm the head of creatives and co-owner at Animwood Animation Studio, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we write scripts for the marketing videos that you can produce with us. Because most of the times when we are doing the video explainer production, this is something that is coming up, pretty frequently, and there are some questions or things that we need to tackle on very early during the production regarding the scripts. So I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks on how to prepare the script for your marketing video to actually be able to discuss it with the production company or to produce it yourself. So if you're a marketer or the CEO or the VP of your organization, or you are working in the sales, this video is for you. And I myself produced, wrote and directed over 150 video explainers throughout my career. So here I'm going to give you a very quick overview of the most common things that are coming up during the production. Guys, first of all, the most important thing that I see very frequently is that you need to be actually fixed on some sort of bias persona. So you need to be able to tell us very specifically, or yourself, who this video is for, right? So when you are coming up with the script, be very direct and try to actually, solve some problems or break the objections that your clients might have when you are creating the B2B marketing video. So the bias persona is something that really determines a lot, not only visually, but also in terms of the structure, how complex the language might be, what we are going to talk about, what are the key features of your product or service. So the thing is, what are the key takeaways from the video? What are very specific value proposition, and how they actually respond to the objections of your buyers, of your clients, right, in the B2B video marketing. So this is the thing that is the most common. So the best solution for actually creating a very successful marketing video is to be very specific with the bias persona and try to talk only to them with this video. And the second thing that is very attached to the buyer persona is where is it going to be published, right? Is it YouTube? Is it LinkedIn? Is it social media? Or are you going to post it on your website only? Sometimes clients are using our videos to actually show them to the investors or to their clients during the sales meetings, and that's also a very good idea on how we can use the video explainer to actually achieve our goals with the video. But it really determines the call to action and the very specific things like the instructions or the language that we are using. So when we are, for example, posting it on the social medias, most of the time the viewers aren't really watching the videos with the sound on. So if you are going to use it as a paid ads, it's a good approach to actually use the closed captions or the subtitles that will be implemented in the video, even visually from the get-go. If you are going to use it on your website, it really determines the call to action at the very end of the video, so the goal of the video. So we are not really going to pull the traffic to your website since your viewers are already on your website, right? So this is something that we need to be aware of, and we need to know that beforehand. And talking about the call to action, this is the most important stuff. If you're a marketer or the sales manager, you already know that. But the best practice is actually to have, to focus on one product or one service with your video. And that means also that you have to have one call to action, right? So it's either, visit our website or set up a meeting with us or write us an email or whatever comes to your mind, right? So, but we can't really have two call to actions at the end, because The call to action, as you well know, gets stronger when it's like shorter and very direct. So to actually be able to push someone to do what we want to do after watching the video, it has to be very clear with the goal, right? So if we are going to, move the traffic to your website, that's the goal, right? So we can be very brief about that, or are you interested? Visit our website, whatever, right? So this is like the goal here, to be very specific, very brief about the call to action. Next point is that most of the times people are asking how they should prepare their script in terms of the, formally. So the best practice here is to actually have the voiceover separately and the picture description separately. It can take various forms, but the best one is to actually use the Excel spreadsheet for that, or the Google Docs or Word to actually set up the structure and create the table, and if we have like the voiceover on the left, we can have the picture description on the right, and it's very easy to actually understand what's going on within each of the scenes, each of the shots. And by voiceover, we mean obviously what is going to be like recorded with the voice talent, and what is going to be said in the video, and the picture description is the visuals that are accompanying the voiceover. If you use it, most of the video production companies will be able to actually understand the brief, understand the script, and come up with the quote estimate or the timeline for the production, and be able to discuss with you the details. And next thing is, I think this is like the most important point that I might make in this video, is the length of the voiceover. Most of the times our clients don't really know how long their video will turn out to be. And this is, very crucial thing, since we don't really want to create most of the times a very long video, or we don't have the budget for that, or we don't have like the timeline for that, and the time we want to wrap it up earlier. A good practice here is to actually try reading it out loud. I'm not really a big fan of the word count thing, because when we have like different languages, the word count doesn't really correspond so well with the length of the video. So it's for the best if you actually try to reading the full voiceover out loud at least three times. And the way we do it is we try to read it with the normal tempo of the voice, and then we try to read it faster, by around 10 to 15%, and slower by 10 or 15%. And then we see, after recording it even with your phone, we try to see, like, find the middle ground between all the takes that we just took. And it gives us a very rough idea on the length of the whole full video. And the next thing is actually taking into consideration the intro and the outro, as well as the pauses that will be like necessary for your video. So the most common thing that we are quoting on is 90 seconds video or the 60-second video. In both cases, you will need around 10 to 15 seconds for the intro and the outro. And by intro and the outro, I mean the establishing shot for a more narrative structure, so the opening shot, or the logo animation for the intro and the outro, and for the outro with the call to action as well, right? So you don't want your video to actually end abruptly, so you need to give some space at the end, a few seconds. And most of the time, as said, for 90 seconds or 60 seconds, it's around 10 to 15 seconds to actually that are necessary to come up with the intro and the outro for your video. So that means if you are going to produce a 90 seconds video, your voiceover has to be like 75 seconds long. So take that into consideration. So guys, the best practice is actually record yourself after you write the voiceover. I know most of the people don't really want to do it, but believe me, it's worth a hassle, because otherwise you are really putting yourself in a position in which you will need to either add something to the budget, or you will need to rework the script during the production, or you will need to discuss it with the video production company or with your boss. I don't know which is worse, but yeah, I think it's the best practice. So try doing that. And I know it's silly to hear yourself, when you record yourself, you are doing the mistakes when you are reading it, but really do it, and it will save you so much problems, so much time. I think it's very, it's really necessary to have a peace of mind and be actually able to tell you, the video production company, how long the video will be. And what is connected with that is the very interesting stuff is happening when you are coming up with the script yourself. And the thing is that most of the people don't really understand the tell versus show. And this structure of creating the voiceover and the picture descriptions separately really allows to see the difference between the two and make the best use of the two. By saying that, I mean most of the people really struggle with visualizing how they can actually show something instead of telling this. So when we are telling, we are using the voiceover for that. And obviously I know the pain and struggle of coming up with the script in which we are trying to squeeze every information within 60 to 90 seconds of the video. And it's very helpful to actually understand that there are things that we can show, not necessarily talk about them. So what we need to do, and the best practice, is actually come up with the bullet points for what are the key takeaways for our buyer's persona and what's the goal for the video. And after we establish that, we can cross out the things that we don't really find necessary for our video. And afterwards, we can decide on what we need to talk about and what needs to be shown. And by shown, I mean, either use the typography for that, because we can obviously do that. We can have something, we can have the voice talent talk about one thing and show the different thing on the screen in terms of the typography, or we can emphasize the thing that is talked about with the typography. But we can also, show by showing the characters doing something, in an environment, if we have the characters in our video. So we have the we can create the scenes in which the characters interact or do something, or we can show the interfaces, show all the features of the software that we are talking about, or the product. So there are plenty of ways in which we can show the things, and this is where the video production company might be super useful, their expertise in actually what we can talk about and what we can show in the visuals, because we are trying to create actually the very coherent form, right? The video is based on the sound, obviously, the voice talent recording, and the visuals as well. So we can plenty of times we can show the most crucial features in an icon form, or in some sort of screencast recording, or whatever is needed here. So remember, there are things that has to be told and the things that can be shown on the screen, and they are complementary. So that might save you a lot of hours thinking about your script. And the last thing that I most of the time find very troublesome when we are coming up with the scripts for especially the IT companies is actually the extensive use of abbreviations and the very, very complex language. So what I find to be working the best in those cases is to actually try to come up with the voiceover that would be very simple, and try to place anything that might sound weird in the visuals. So I had an experience of actually coming up with the script that sounded like And at ATC we are using the BBC for the DDC companies, and as you hear, it sounds super weird, and I'm not really the native speaker, obviously. But I think that even for an English-speaking person, it sounds super weird. So try to avoid jargon or a very specific specialist words when you are coming up with the script, especially in the voiceover, because I feel that this is something that is actually creating the distance. And I understand that the bias persona may be experts in the area, but I feel that this is really like counterintuitive, that you shouldn't be really using this language so much if you are trying to sell them something. You should focus more on your value proposition, or explaining it very simply to actually evoke some sort of like emotions, instead of trying to direct the messaging to their very intellectual way of thinking, because it really depends on the marketing strategy here. I understand that, but the best practice, in my opinion, is to actually avoid the jargon at all in the voiceover. And if you want to put those abbreviations and the very specific things, we can always make use of the visuals for that, with the typography, icons, or some sort of like visuals with the text underneath. So that's like the best way, in my opinion, from the perspective of someone who actually produced a lot of this stuff, is the best way, the most successful way, to be honest, because I saw that our videos, when they avoid that, they are super useful and much more helpful for our clients. Those were the most crucial things that you need to be aware of when you are coming up with the script for your marketing video, product explainer or service explainer, especially an animated one. So I hope it was useful for you. Please let me know down in the comments. We'll be trying to come up with more stuff like that if it's useful to you guys. And if you have like any questions, just feel free to leave them in the comment as well, or just shoot us an email at you can find us at animwood.com, and we'll be more than happy to help you guys with especially with your animated video. So no strings attached. Thank you so much, guys, and see you around.